Hi, I'm Dave Pell, and with me today is Matt Plaskoff, the founder and CEO of 1 Week Bath. And we are continuing our series where we talk everything that you need to know about bathroom design. So, Matt, welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
So, we're going to jump right in here. Let's talk for a moment about here, with your approach to designing a bathroom. What makes a great designer and a great design experience?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So this is really very interesting, the psychology of this whole process. There are so many people that are extremely stagnated from moving forward on their projects because they're overwhelmed. And what's interesting about it is that there are studies that have been done that say that customers want selection, right? So they want to know that they can have anything, and they want to be able to walk into a tile store and see 7 million tiles and things and like that. But once they start to process that they have to decide on various things, they get into overload and then they shut down. So then that keeps them from actually moving forward on their project, right? So what we do, this is one of the things that I think makes our designers great, is that we're the filter to the overwhelm. And so like I can even see it when I go do it. I can see it in the client's eyes. I can see when they're starting to go, oh God, and so our job is to ask questions that eliminate choices that they don't need to see.
What's the saying? Paralysis by analysis? Is that
kind of like that?
And that's kind of what happens, right?
Kind of like that. Paralysis by overwhelm of decision making, right? And so what we do is our designers won't bring in 50 tile samples at one time, right? The questions get asked, okay, what size tiles are we looking for? What color patterns are we looking for? We ask these questions. Sometimes they don't know the answer, right? But we ask these questions, and then what we're trying to do is we're trying to filter those decisions so that we can bring to them only the things that we believe are going to please them or that are going to be close to pleasing them, right? And so by doing that in each of the facets, right? So tile, cabinets, countertops, sinks, there are 100 decisions to be made in a bathroom. And if you said to someone, look, there's 100 decisions to be made in a bathroom, they would just go, oh gosh. But by us, so I think a great designer asks questions to filter. I can't tell you how many times our designer or myself will show the customer a product and they'll say, let me see more. And they end up at the first one we showed them because we know the answer. And the weird part about it is that they still need to see more. They might need to see 2 or 3 or 4, but they don't need to see 100, right? So the goal is filter, ask questions, determine the need and the like, and then bring things to the table that you believe they will like, and then they can decide. If they have 3 choices, they can decide, and they feel okay about that decision. Does that make sense?
That does absolutely make sense. The psychology of
decision
design.
making in design. And I talk to customers who have been thinking about their bathroom for like 2 years. They're like, we have to do this, but we could never get there.
Do you find that because of the format of how you guys go through it, and it's sort of a structured scenario where you're leading them through 100 decisions, but because you've done it, thousands of times, and you have sort of a set of, as you said, you sort of have a set of questions that you ask and you're leading them through it. On their own, people are going to be super overwhelmed, but as you bring them through the process, the decisions kind of just happen and fall into place naturally, and you're able to get there, and the outcome is what they want.
So the other thing we do with our clients is, while we don't want them to make a whole bunch of changes after we've already made our decisions, we also give them permission to do that. Because I think what happens is that if you don't give them the permission, like if you don't say at the end, look, you've made some great decisions here. Do you like what we've done? Yes, we love what we've done. By being able to say, look, if tomorrow morning you wake up in a cold sweat and you're like, I want to revisit the faucet, it's not the end of the world, right? We don't want to obviously be making changes all the time because that's not an efficient thing to do, but we want to give them permission, right, to be able to, that way they don't feel like they're stuck.
I have to ask, do you ever get to a place where people are just selecting stuff that are kind of zany and that don't fit well together, and you're sort of just, you kind of want to tell them like, hey, maybe don't go that route because it's going to look really weird?
Yeah, that's a interesting politically charged question in terms of like, how do you say to someone that's good? I mean, I think you have to say to someone, I think it's very pragmatic. It's like, here's the reason I don't think that's a good idea. Okay. So what's the reason? A, resale. Somebody else is going to walk in and say, like, the majority of the public is going to walk in and say, I don't like that, which is going to affect their resaleability, right? A functional issue, that's not going to work. That's a cool idea, but it's not going to work. Or, yeah, I wouldn't really do that in my bathroom in terms of, do you see how that pattern clashes with that pattern? But ultimately, if you educate them and say, look, here are the reasons why I think this is not the best idea, but it's your bathroom. If you want like a Dodger themed bathroom with baseballs for the faucet turns, if you try to sell the house to a Giants fan, you're in trouble, but go for it. Like I don't,
far be it for me, right?
I don't like, we design bathrooms that are on all different kinds of spectrums, and we have designed bathrooms that are wacky. It's their bathroom. You just have to give them the pros and cons of what it means to make those wacky decisions and let them, it's going to be the best looking, best functional, wacky. And now I'm not going to do something that's not functional. Like if they're asking for something and I know that it's going to get water everywhere and it's going to be a problem, I'm going to tell them.
We're in Los Angeles. I know you've done some bathrooms for some big celebrities. In general, celebrities, they like regular bathrooms, or they people who are like, yeah, I want the crazy, weird, outlandish stuff?
Yeah. Most of them are just, they want pretty neutral stuff, and they can do whatever they want. They can afford typically whatever they want, right?
Right.
But they're not necessarily doing anything wacky.
I want a 24 karat gold bathroom from floor to ceiling because I love gold.
But for the most part, my experience over 30 years of working with those people is they're traditionalists for the most part. They like, because most of these people are creative, they get what looks good and what doesn't look good, right? And so they're very they like traditional. I don't mean traditional like frilly traditional. I just mean if they're in a 20s home, they want it to look like a 20s home. If they're in a modern home, they want it to look like they're very I want to say consistent with style of the home and things like that. Every once in a while they'll do something wacky, but for the most part, no.